I want to be a gamer girl. It's my life's goal and my life's dream. And not just any gamer girl.
A cozy gamer girl.
We don't fuck with the minimalist triangle RGB aesthetic.
No. See, I want the grassiest, greeniest, most maximalist setup that you can imagine. And that, of course, includes...
Everything on Etsy, however, is, well, 1, drop shipped, 2, somehow still super expensive, and 3, Pokemon. And brother, I live in Japan. I've seen enough dittos for the rest of my life. I'm good. I've seen them all. So what's a girl to do? Well, I'm not just any girl. I'm a eagle. I'm a artist. It's simple. I'll just master the art of custom keycaps. To be fair, this is kind of simple. It's just the one skill. Well, it's the one material that I've never used before. It's also the intricate skill of sculpting tiny objects in a fashion that is both appealing and durable. In fact, it needs to be durable enough to handle my hardcore video gaming, such as my WASDing and hotkeys. I'm an artist. Let's just fucking...
Let's customize some keycaps. I'd better tidy up my keyboard first. I have the EPO Maker TH80X. I decided to customize my page up, page down keys and my escape key. But I didn't use these ones. I bought some PBT plastic keycaps online. So they gotta be PBT, otherwise they will melt when you cook. Whoa. When you cook them. Unfortunately, these ones kind of look like big teeth, and they were really tall, so I did buy some less toothy ones. And then, of course, our tools. I got out my silicone baking mat because we're working with polymer clay today. Ooh, ah. I have used air dry, but I have very limited experience with Fimo or any other kind of polymer clay, so I'm very excited and I cannot wait to master it. Okay, so the plan. I'd make a stump for my escape key and then 2 flowery meadowy caps for my page up and page down keys. So I figured I'd just dive in mixing a variety of browns and beiges for the stump. Simple, right? I just listened to my favorite podcast. Right now I'm enjoying Sweet and Sour Pod, do a little bit of conditioning, and then we can get into it, right? Wrong! I want you to take a guess in your mind how long it took me to make all these colors. 10, 20, 30 minutes? That's funny.
I have spent... I spent 2 hours mixing 5 colors. I have blisters on my fucking thumbs. Why did I do this? Anyway, haha, yippee!
It's time for the stump. I knew exactly how to execute my vision. It worked perfectly. In my head. I would simply roll out a thin layer of beige for the heartwood, add a couple of tiny rings, make some raggedy chunks of brown for the bark, and BAM! Stump! Stump scale! Oh my god, I almost spilled milk all over my house. Reality, however, is a little different. I firstly struggled to get the clay thin enough, and then when I did, I struggled to stick the clay to the plastic cap. The chunks ended up more like spindle shapes than bark as the clay warmed in my hands and were a lot floppier and just more difficult to manipulate than I thought they would be. See, with air dry clay, you can build it up and carve into it really easily, but I just couldn't do this quite so well with polymer. It doesn't squish the same. It's a lot bouncier, and the rubber tools that I have for clay sculpting, which work great with air dry clay, barely did anything. I ended up layering the spindles, cutting into the clay with an X-Acto knife, redoing everything a bunch of times, and just kind of suffering. Not gonna lie, this whole time recording, all I can think about is what would have happened if I'd spilled milk all over the place just before. Oh my god, I really averted a disaster. Now, it does make sense that they would react differently. Polymer clay is obviously not related to clay from the earth and ground and Mother Gaia of nature. It is an oil-based, high-yield, thixotropic material, a man-made horror born in a lab and wrought from industry, the Moloch of art supplies, a totem of... all that to say, the learning curve was steeper than I expected, because I expected to be instantly good at it. I don't know why. I'm literally not naturally good at art. I have to fight for the few skills that I have, and on this day, fight I did. With a little perseverance and a lot of whinging, I did get the hang of it and came away with, not to brag or anything, but a pretty good stump. But if I'm honest, it kinda didn't feel that way.
This is way harder than I thought it would be. Getting my butt kicked. What the hell?
Wow, that stump really pissed her off. Oh, wait, never mind. She's conditioning more clay. You'd think after my previous color mixing odyssey, I'd just use colors straight from the box, but come on. They're a bit garish, no? A bit gaudy, a bit gauche. I simply had to put a little bit of yellow in that green. I can't help it. I'm snotty. Snot of the woods, nice to meet you. For the page up, page down keys, I wanted to make the artisan keycap equivalent of that meadow in Howl's Moving Castle. Yeah, that one. ChatGPT may turn your loved ones into shoddy imitations of Ghibli, but can it make a shoddy clay imitation of Ghibli? Yeah, no. That's what I thought. Anyway, sorry for the current world event jump scare. You can see that I've covered that nice snotty green with a bunch of white spots. I spent some time trying to convince myself that it would look good eventually, but that eventuality never came. They were meant to look like little smatterings of wildflowers, but instead they kind of looked like either Minnie Mouse or kind of like a pox or a pustule. God, what a horrible word. I thought maybe if I put bigger flowers over the pustules, they'll look less pustulant. God, sorry, you're probably watching this during like a meal. Wait, are my videos meal videos? Okay, to the 12 people watching this, are you eating right now? Be honest with me. Anyway, after the failure of my first meadow design, I knew I had to switch gears for the second.
I don't know if you can tell right now, but it is dark outside. It has hit 8:30 and I've got this little flower field and I hate it. I don't like it. Don't like the white dots. They're like way too big and they kind of just look gross. I don't have the dexterity to make really, really, really tiny circles, but I have another blank green. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to make more of these larger flowers and hope that they go a little bit better. But it might just be that we have the stump. Much to think about. Maybe I'll just let that cool in there. No! Are you serious? Oh my god, I made it way too fat. Wait, it's stuck. Okay. Okay, yeah, we're just getting texture, that's all. Finally got them to fit after a lot of chopping, but we're done. I'm gonna show you how they look. Are we doing a reveal for this video? I don't know. Should I do a reveal? I might just, you know what? This is what it looks like. No, just kidding. We're not doing the reveal yet. They came out looking, I would say, pretty amateurish. Not bad for a first go, but I made you a promise. A promise of what? Mastery. Excuse me. That means I have to get good. I can't just get okay. But realistically, can I fulfill that? I'm just a humble digital artist. I'm not even a sculptor of other materials master. I'm a Control-Z master. I mean, well, that's what I promised, so that's what I have to do, I guess.
And so, with my pajama pants hoisted all the way up like a big boy, I got back to it. We're iterating and learning from our past attempts here. It's a key element of mastery, perhaps the most important. One thing I did differently this time, before I was specifically watching how to make polymer clay keycaps videos for research. At some point though, I was like, why don't I just watch any and all polymer clay videos? It's made a huge difference. Instead of a specific project like fucking Pokemon keycaps. Sorry, I don't hate Pokemon. It's just, oh, hello. The videos that I was watching were showing me the basic techniques for using polymer clay, how to manipulate it to do what you wanted, and little tips like rolling tiny spindles on paper. I don't know why that works, but it does. And I learned that from a polymer clay basics video. I realized one thing I didn't like about the flower field keycap is how there was no texture. It made it look kind of cheap and nasty and plasticky. So this time around, I worked on getting a nice texture onto this grass. Kind of wish I used a cuter shade of green, but whatever. I guess it's more natural, whatever. I didn't have the fancy needle tool most people use for texture, so I messed around with what I do have. Turns out a split, splintery, chewed up toothpick was the most effective. I recommend. Just don't actually eat the toothpick. I let go of my Ghibli meadow idea and tried something a little bit different. I made a tiny pumpkin, throwback to my hobbit wreath, and I finished off with some more spindles, ooh. And I used that little tip I mentioned before to create some twisting vines, and then I put it all together to create something I could finally describe as masterful.
Fine, let's talk about it. I really hate filming reveals. They are the worst part of making YouTube videos. So that's a wrap on mastering the art of artisan keycaps. Did I master them? I'll leave that up to you. I think I certainly got better at it. I'm talking really quietly today. I don't know why, but I just can't bring myself to make my voice loud. Also, what do you think of my Tropicana Cabana hotel, casino, resort, and over the spring vacation I got all of my co-workers into Minecraft and now we're on a work server. There's a few of us who are on all the time. Like, if it's Friday night, we're going till 4 a.m. It's not good. It has not been good for my mental health. Anyway, the keycaps. I definitely learned during this process that it's more important to understand the materials you're using rather than just have a vision for what you want. I had a really clear idea of what I wanted and I thought I knew how to execute that, but because I'm not familiar with polymer clay, I couldn't at first. I'm not the kind of person who can do like exercises or drills in order to get to know a material. Someone just slept. I have to actually be interested in a project and use that in order to get to know the tools better. This method can lead you to have like information gaps when it comes to working with materials, but I can't function any other way. It's just how I am, it's just who I am. It's funny, I often see people use, for example, watercolors in a really opaque way to try to emulate gouache and vice versa, and I'm always like, just use the material as it is. Its limitations, its restrictions. Different materials are good at different things. And I started off this project using polymer clay as if it were air dry clay, so I'm learning lessons here. The stump is a little big. The pumpkin and the vines sometimes get caught on each other, so they're definitely not perfect, but I really like how they came out, and I'm really happy to make my desk just that much more silly and whimsical. I certainly wouldn't be able to sell these. I feel like I say that every video. Is not worthy of commercial trade at all. I kind of feel like I should punch the camera now, but I don't feel very violent.